We're in Southern California today getting our first taste of the Royal Enfield 650 Twins. The first motorcycle I've ridden is the Interceptor. The Continental comes to us tomorrow. So let's look at what we've got. So we now know that this engine makes 53 Newton meters of torque at 5150 RPM. Peak power is 47 PS at 7250 RPM. But the design of the engine is to make the torque low and mid, and it's a high and flat torque curve. On the road, it's beautiful because the counterbalancer really works. It's a smooth engine. It sounds absolutely great even on the stock exhaust. And when you open the throttle, you realize that revving it out to its red line, I think about 7.5 or 8,000 RPM, 7.5, is no point because it's making the meat of its power between 4 and 6,000 RPM. That's where it wants to be. So even in the twisties today, if you really revved it out, the motorcycle actually felt slower. So it's a gutsy little engine. It works really well. Out on the highway, 100 kilometers an hour in top gear is only 4,000 RPM. 120 is only 5,000 RPM. At either, it's smooth, it's unstressed, it's composed. I really enjoyed the engine. I have to also notice that the gearbox, obviously, on the other side, the gearbox is also very slick. It shifts cleanly. I think there was only a couple of times where I got a misshift, and that was because I was trying to rush it through the gearbox in a set of corners. More my fault than the motorcycle's really. So overall, the powertrain package, they've got it. It feels really good. What I can't tell you today is, will it heat up in the traffic and all of those things? I don't know. It's a cold day, and if it heats up, I think I'll actually be happy because I'm shivering a little bit inside. But they do have these little heat shields here, which tells me that obviously your knee is pretty close to the engine, and it is a substantial sized engine. So in India, we'll see how the heat thing works. The frame, it's very similar looking to the old Continental GT's frame, but it's a completely new frame. The Interceptor and the Continental GT have a small difference in steering geometry, but essentially this is a nice handling frame. It's not a very quick turning frame or a very slow turning frame. They've got the balance in the middle. It feels light, it feels comfortable, and the most important thing that you need to know about the Interceptor is that it feels like a motorcycle that's easy to understand how to ride. It's easy to access, and I promise you, no matter what you've been riding before, when you ride a motorcycle like this, and you have to understand, going to a 650 twin, it's a big step. It'll be easy. There's no intimidation, there's nothing to be scared of. It's a very friendly motorcycle, and it's also fairly well equipped because at the front you've got bi-brake brakes, they've got ABS as standard, it's got fuel injection, it's got gas charge shocks with the preload adjustment, rear disc brake. It's got all the little bits. Royal Enfield are also creating a 40-part accessory catalog. 28 of those parts are common between this motorcycle and the Continental GT. So there's a fair amount of customization and luggage and those kind of things that you can bring to the motorcycle. Overall, the questions that we've usually got are vibration. Well, counterbalance twin, there's hardly any vibration to complain of really. Reliability. My first impression is this is as good in terms of quality as anything else we buy in India. Is it the top of the line quality that you'd get from an Indian made machine? Perhaps not. Maybe the BMW 310 GS is a better quality motorcycle than this. But this is certainly as good as anything that you consider good quality in India. And Royal Enfield has spent a lot of time ensuring that all the little bits that go into the motorcycle, all the production processes, the suppliers, everybody is on that same page. The final question obviously was price and availability. We don't have a price yet, and my gut says this is going to be a sub 3 lakh rupee ex-showroom motorcycle. 2.7 to 3.5 is the price band that I've heard people talking about. But if you think about it, even at 3.5 lakh rupees, getting a 650cc twin-cylinder motorcycle, 47 PS, it's going to be the kind of value that we have not seen in the market yet, and I think in that sense it will be a game changer. Of course, I think Royal Enfield expects a lot of their current customers to be upgrading to this motorcycle, and a relatively smaller number of people from the outside and other brands upgrading to this motorcycle. But I think there's something like 3 million Royal Enfields on the roads in India, and if they convert 1 or 2% of that, this bike is golden. Final question obviously is availability. The launch should happen between November and December this year. It's not fully decided yet, so somebody asked us that they want to buy one and ride one to Ridermania this year. Well, that looks difficult, but I think by January they should be delivering this motorcycle, and I do think that based on what I'm seeing of this motorcycle, we'll be seeing a lot of these on the road.